Annyeonghaseyo, Jason Schenker, Ibn Da, and it's my pleasure to answer questions about the global energy crisis that we're currently facing. Most impactful cause of the energy crisis in Europe is the Russian war on Ukraine. This has provided tremendous revealing of exposures in Europe. Europe had thought that importing cheap and stable volumes of natural gas from Russia would allow for a greening of electricity and power to switch from coal to nat gas-fired power generation. And that worked well until Russia became an adversary of the European Union and of NATO. By invading Ukraine early in 2022, this added political pressure in Europe and came with the realization that the supplies out of Russia come at a cost. They are not stable, and what looked inexpensive is now very costly in several different ways. And there are a few different solutions being put forward. One is to reduce consumption by reducing the temperature that people keep their thermostats at, by putting pressure on companies and how they consume. If you drive down demand, that will take some pressures off. Number two is boosting supply, right? If prices are really high, you can pull back demand. You can also increase supply. That's primarily through liquefied natural gas or LNG imports. And then the third idea that's been put out there is capping prices, either by capping natural gas wholesale prices with a wholesale gas price cap, or by putting a revenue cap on electricity prices, especially for non-natural gas power. Option would be to finance support for clean energy. Obviously, if we think about the impact, in the long run, more renewables, more clean energy, more green energy is extremely valuable for reducing European dependence on Russian natural gas. But that won't solve the problems that individual consumers and economies face this winter. To build solar power facilities, to put new wind farms up, because it takes time. So thinking about transferring those funds to end consumers so they can afford heat and power, or compensating and incentivizing companies to reduce their consumption in order to make sure there's enough gas to go around, those are more important right now, perhaps, than thinking about the long-term energy solution. So the push to cleaner energy is going to continue. In the short term, it has been viewed as a very quick win, a low-hanging fruit to switch from coal to natural gas. Natural gas has been a critical part of the solution for reducing CO2 emissions in the near term. By switching power generation from coal to natural gas, you can reduce CO2 emissions by around 50%. The third big thing, aside from adding renewables and switching from coal to natural gas, is to try to push for greater efficiency in terms of demand and consumption of power. Emerging smart cities technologies are so critical for efficiently managing consumption. We think about smart meters, smart grids. These things help reduce demand and manage demand most efficiently, especially at times of peak demand when grids are under the most stress. What I'm most optimistic for as I look at the future of energy, what the prospects for renewables are, and how we get to a greener energy world, making the short-term switch from coal to nat gas, making sure we're adding new renewables, and then managing our consumption most efficiently as possible. really important elements of success